the web at greatamericantreasures.org. A Moment in Time with Dan Roberts is produced at the University of Richmond with the cooperation of WCVE Public Radio. Our theme music is composed by BJ Liederman. Our sound engineer is Robert Richards. Transcripts, podcasts, audio, and video are available at amomentintime.com.
Listener-supported community radio, KSJE Farmington. Join us today in Keeping the Beacon at ksje.com/support. Here on KSJE, and it's time to take our weekly trip to the Encouragement Lab, and there he is. Dr. Mike Hadabaugh is in the lab this morning. Dr. Hadabaugh, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us, and we had a little bit of a break, but you are back, and it's good to see you, and you've been redecorating a little bit.
Yeah, we're temporarily moved here. We had a bit of a lab accident, so
okay.
So I had to move into the bedroom.
You're in the West Wing, and that's okay. So
of the lab.
Good to see you. But today your topic couldn't be more topical because we are talking about the Broadway sensation that is now streaming, it seems like on every television, Hamilton.
Exactly, yeah. And our viewers may not know this, but on the Twitter universe, which is of course the only universe there is, right?
Right.
Hamilton has now become controversial. It is trending on Twitter for all the wrong reasons.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's going on?
What's trending on Twitter is cancel Hamilton.
Really?
Cancel Hamilton. Yeah, like cancel it. Like get rid of it.
Okay.
So I got the post that started it all.
Yeah.
Hamilton is a flawed play. And I didn't write this. Okay. So I'm a musical lover. I love musicals and love Hamilton and don't want Hamilton canceled, all right?
Okay, but someone else does.
Because I think we can learn something from it, because I think we've lost our minds in some ways right now in our country, and I think most people agree. The problem is you need to agree that you've lost your mind too, not just the people you think lost their minds.
Okay.
And to me, Hamilton's a great example of this. So here's what was written. Hamilton is a flawed play about flawed people written by an imperfect person that gave me flawed and imperfect little life. That gave my flawed and imperfect little life a big boost when I needed it most. So again, I know I'm biased, but I do appreciate the change this illustrates when we're following the convo's evolution. So now, this was written by a person who was talking about this trending cancel Hamilton, because guess what Hamilton's chock full of?
What is it chock full of? I'm trying to think here.
It's chock full of slave owners.
Oh, of course.
The characters in Hamilton are slave owners.
That's true.
Alexander Hamilton himself, while not a slave owner, managed his wife's family slaves and bought and sold them. All right.
Okay.
So, but the problem is that I know lots of people that, love Hamilton, that also are, saying we got to bring down all the history and past of our culture that has to do with this. So I think it's appropriate that this is, following that evolution, right?
Right.
And so hear me out. I'm not here to take a side in that. I'm a Yankee who grew up in the South, so trust me, I know more than most about the racial situation in our culture. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about communication and encouragement, because that's what my expertise is.
Yeah.
And I love Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator of Hamilton's response to this.
Right.
He's the creator and the guy playing Hamilton on the Disney version of this. He responded to her, appreciate you so much at Brokey MC Poverty was her name. Miranda wrote in response, all the criticisms are valid. The sheer tonnage of complexities and failings of these people I couldn't get, or wrestled with but cut. I took 6 years and fit as much as I could into a 2.5-hour musical. Did my best. It's all fair game. Right?
Right.
So I love that response. By the way, that ought to be more people's response to controversy is, yeah, I'll take that under under account. I'll listen to you.
Right.
I recently started doing that on Facebook sometimes when I'm trying to figure out somebody and I realize, oh, they're just not going to get this. And so I just say thank you and move on. Now, if you go back and study my Facebook post and go, oh, he said thank you to me, that always that's why I'm doing it. But I'm just saying is that's sometimes we're arguing about things that there's not a good answer to. And the reason I love pointing this out is guess what? That is completely valid. If we're going to start canceling everybody that has flaws, we're going to cancel ourselves. And that ultimately is the problem with the ultimate end of cancel culture.
Right.
That I'm so against, and I have no problem saying that this whole idea of you should lose your job based on one post you made on Facebook has gotten out of hand. And it's not American, I'll even say. I don't say that very often, but we want to encourage people to be brave and say what they're thinking, even if it's obscene and irreverent and abhorrent even to us. We've got to get past this idea that it's somehow nefarious that we all, because guess what? Like I said, sooner or later, as Robespierre found out, they'll come for you. And I can't even say his name.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, it's coming out.
There you go.
Who has a history of treating people wonderfully, right? And now he's being targeted for being canceled because of the fact that he studied a flawed character from history and wrote an up-to-date musical about it using an up-to-date methodology, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not a big rapping fan, but I love the context of his musical.
Sure.
So that's what I want to point out is that we've forgotten that we're all flawed people. And we all have beliefs that if we got in a plane and flew to certain parts of the world would be obscene in those cultures. Heck, just when talking is obscene in some cultures around the world.
Right.
And that's crazy and ludicrous, and yes, we should call that out. But to spend so much time and energy canceling people over cultural differences that, first of all, we can't go back and live in the culture that happened 100, 200, 300 years ago. We can't live in it. So for us to make these inferences about what their culture means now, I think is a bit over the top. I just think that's something to think about. And here's what else I know is if you're busy canceling other people, you're not busy encouraging people to be their best self. You can't do both. There's not enough time and energy. So anyway, that's my little 2 cents today. Is that
I like it.
Is that we're crazy to cancel Hamilton. Therefore, we need to reconsider all of the things that we're trying to cancel because we will. I know people. I've seen it. We will justify. Oh, it's okay for Hamilton to be flawed. It's not okay for something else because I don't like something else. That to me is a great example of that. So realize that cancel Hamilton is trending, and that's why, if you didn't know,
right?
And it's why it's important for us to realize that we need to start being a little more sensitive to this whole cancel culture. I've been against it since day one because I think it's not helpful.
Right.
And
well, I don't think I don't think 100% of anything is ever helpful, right? So I think that makes good sense, and that's why we call it the Encouragement Lab. So thank you for that, Dr. Hadabaugh.
You're welcome.
All right, that's Dr. Mike Hadabaugh. He is with me every Wednesday from the one and only Encouragement Lab right here on KSJE Farmington.